Today we're going to talk about something that I have learned over 10 years in living, coaching, consulting, and studying the online business world. And that is that there's one thing that separates those who are able to make a living in their online business from those who seem to scrape by on pennies and never can make anything really happen no matter what they do or what they try. And the one thing has nothing to do with how smart you are, how much education you have, how much money you have, or even how many influencers you know who can get you seen and heard in your market. More than anything, the winners are people who show up consistently and add something of value. And the key word there is consistently. Because let's face it, there's a lot of times we just don't feel like showing up. And let's talk for just a minute about why we don't feel like showing up, because that's sort of key to solving this whole problem. And there's a million different reasons that we might not feel like showing up. But they all boil down to one of three things: either time, energy, or ideas. I don't have time to show up. I don't have the energy to show up because of what's going on in my life. And I don't really have any ideas to share. I don't feel like I can have anything to contribute today. I'll just share a story with you because really, honestly, today I don't really feel like showing up. I am in Detroit with my son at the Junior Olympics, and I just feel like seeing him run and kind of living in that moment. I'm in a hotel room with 3 of my kids, including my 2 and 3-year-old. So I've had to lock myself in my bathroom, hoping they're asleep. I don't have my microphone. I don't have time to add any fancy music or my logo or anything else to this video. I honestly, this is a day I'd probably skip given the choice. And even to take it even further than that, I haven't felt like showing up for a long time, for quite a while, a couple of months actually. If you know me, you know that some of my children have come to me through adoption, and that brings with them some special needs due to choices that their birth mothers made. And one of my kids has really required my full-time attention lately. And so I've been making that excuse and feeling like I'm not living, congruently with my message, and it's made me want to run and hide. And that's what, if you think about it, if you're not showing up, it has to do with the fact that you feel like you're not living your message. Either, if you have an online business, you're supposed to have time freedom. You have a lifestyle business. You always have time to show up. Who's going to want to work with you if you're anything less on social media than someone who displays a perfect weight and an adoring partner and straight A student kids who are enjoying your vacation on a Caribbean beach. This is a lot of times just what we see and feel like we have to be. And if we're not, oh my gosh, if I show up something different than that, everyone's going to feel like I'm a fraud. They don't want to work with me. I shouldn't be having my business at all. And, in reality, what I have experienced as a result of not showing up is obviously it's hurt my bank account. And even more importantly than that, it's really hurt my heart and soul, I guess you can say, because I've missed out on the opportunities for other like-minded people to provide me with the support that you get when you do show up. So think about for a minute why you're not showing up on the days that you don't feel like it. And I bet you it's because you feel like you're not congruent with your message, that you're afraid if you do show up with what you have to say that you'll be exposed as a fraud. And that feeds into the first thing I want to tell you about how to solve this problem. It's a really pretty simple solution, but it's not easy or everyone would do it, right? And what I always try to think of, one of my first and favorite best mentors is Jim Rohn, who is one of the most well-known personal development and business teachers out there. And when he was asked, do you really do all these things that you teach? He kind of laughed and said, do as I say, not as I do. And I figure, if somebody like him could admit that he's not always perfect, And certainly we can admit that too. So I'm going to give you 3 steps for showing up when you don't feel like doing it. And the first is to refuse to buy into your excuses. Recognize that you've either got a time, idea, or energy excuse, but you're not going to buy into it. Just don't. Just say, whatever I'm putting out there is why I'm not showing up today, why I can't or won't show up today. I'm not going to buy into it. It's an excuse and that's it. The second is I always want you to put out some piece of content, whether it be video, audio, written, whatever you want to do, put it out. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if it has some ums and ahs. It's okay if it's not SEO optimized. It just puts something out there. And even if at first you feel like you can't share it with your audience or with everyone, share it with your close friends. Share it with a small circle of people. And the reason it's so important to do this is because, and if you know me, you know what I preach is habits. You've got to get in the habit of producing something every day. Even though I haven't felt like showing up for a while, I still have produced a video for my clients every day because it's a habit. It's not a will or won't I do it. Like you wouldn't walk out the door, you don't think about, well, should I brush my teeth? Should I put on my shoes before I walk out the door? Producing content needs to become a habit like that for you, so you don't even think about the possibility of not doing it. And the only way to make it a habit is by just showing up and doing it every day. And I want to stress that even if you don't feel like you could put it out there right away, you'll get there. And the third thing that I want you to do is tell your story. Don't say, okay, I got to show up, so let me pretend everything's okay. Let me maybe exaggerate a little bit how well everything is going. Tell your story. Be you. And just talk about whatever's going on that day. And if, talk about the book you're reading, a podcast you're listening to, the struggle you're having, anything in your life that has come up that day, any story, any lesson, anything that you can share with people, share it. And now next time I'm going to talk to you about why it's so important to share your story and not someone else's or some story how you think it should be. We're going to talk about why your failure and poverty and chaos is actually the perfect story. But until then, I want you to get to work implementing these 3 things. Say no to your excuses, produce content every day, and tell your story. Thanks for listening. I can't wait to hear from you. Bye-bye.